studio. It is another edition, very special edition of the One More and I'm Out of Here podcast. Hi, everyone. Oh, that sound nice and crisp.
Crisp.
A little cold Coors Light this morning.
Since Rob's not here, I am going to have to say it. You struggled like a son of a bitch on that one.
It's the One More and I'm Out of Here podcast. I'm Dan Carroll. Thanks for being here. And Jason, a ton of stuff that I've been sending you over the last few days. A ton of stuff that has come up over the last 48 hours that I want to talk about. But as we come on the podcast at this moment, we have breaking news. So say hello and let's get to the breaking
Okay, I was
news.
wondering if I was going to get introduced.
Yeah.
Hello. My voice is complete shit.
Did you do karaoke at the Hogorama?
I did not.
You didn't?
There was no karaoke.
There was?
There should have been karaoke, though.
There should have been. Usually that's when I get my voice is shit the next day or two is after I'm like belting it out at karaoke.
And I've heard you belt it out.
I do belt it out.
No, I don't know what the fuck happened. I woke up, we partied hard Friday, and then I woke up Saturday morning, and this is much better. This is probably a 95% improvement of what it was.
Like, based on the short conversation we had on the phone last night. And then the Instagram post you put out.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah. Paula was playing that for me.
I didn't know if you saw it or not.
I saw it. So
it was pretty good. I was sitting in the lobby by myself.
Do we have the One More and I'm Out of Here News Network sounder that Rob is familiar with, that Rob likes to play when we have breaking news?
No.
All right. So
Did he have it? Yeah, I don't have that.
I know. But
I'll get one, though.
Rob Herking's the one that created the One More and I'm Out of Here News Network. But this is breaking headline. Literally, this popped up just moments before we came on air. 3 Americans killed, many wounded in a drone attack by Iran-backed militia in Jordan. 3 American service members killed, many more wounded in a drone strike in Jordan, Joe Biden said in a statement Sunday, attributing the attack to Iran-backed militia groups. They were the first U.S. fatalities in months of strikes against American forces across the Middle East by Iranian-backed militias amid the Israel-Hamas war in Gaza, increasing the risk of escalation. And if you've been following this at all, you know that the Biden administration policies, as they relate to Iran, and specifically the oil sanctions that were placed on Iran by the Trump administration, that bottled up their oil sales and did not allow them to reap huge amounts of money from oil sales. Well, of course, the Biden administration decided not to enforce those sanctions, and hundreds of billions of dollars poured into Iran. A lot of this money went to Hamas, that enabled Hamas to carry out the attacks of October 7th in Israel. And now they have all these there have been hundreds of drone strikes going on because there's a lot of small U.S. military installations scattered around the Middle East. You got them in Syria, you got them in Jordan. I don't think the ones in Saudi Arabia have been hit, but some of the there's installations in Iraq, all sponsored by Iran. Now we have
who we gave a shit ton of money.
Well, and then the Biden administration has been talking about, well, we've had this response and that response, and they blow up an empty building in the middle of the night. Now we have 3 American service members dead and many more wounded because of this attack. Again, breaking news. This news is crossing as we speak. Here, Biden said the United States will hold all those responsible to account at a time and in a manner of our choosing. Well, who the hell? Raise your hand if you believe that we're going to hold those to account. There was no immediate reaction from Jordan, a kingdom bordering Iraq, Israel, the Palestinian territory of the West Bank, Saudi Arabia, and Syria. U.S. troops have long used Jordan as a basing point, and the attack took place in northeast Jordan near the Syrian border. U.S. Central Command said 25 service members were injured in addition to the 3 killed. So 25 injured, 3 dead. 3,000 of some 3,000 American troops typically are stationed in Jordan. Jordanian state TV quoted Muhammad Yabadabadu, a government spokesperson, as insisting the attack happened outside the kingdom across the border in Syria. The conflicting information cannot be immediately reconciled. Since Israel's war on Hamas in the Gaza Strip, U.S. troops in Iraq and Syria have faced drone and missile attacks on their bases. And we've got ships out there in the Red Sea that have come under drone attack as well. Yeah. The attacks on Jordan marked the first targeting of American troops in Jordan during the war. Biden is in Columbia, South Carolina today. He was briefed by Defense Secretary Lloyd Austin. So Lloyd Austin has made it. I guess he's out of the hospital. We talked about that a couple weeks ago, didn't we?
Yeah.
Went to the hospital. His subordinates tried to cover up the fact that he was in the hospital. He lied to the administration about being in the hospital. And then when they found out, Joe Biden didn't know. And we act like this is no big deal.
And how you didn't know is just absolutely fucking astounding. Anyway,
they're reviewing those policies, so that's a good thing.
Guess what? Somebody done fucked up Aaron, and guess what? Now they have they'll have new policies. It's just like the firehouse.
Syria is still in the midst of a civil war, and long has been a launch pad for Iranian-backed forces, including the Lebanese militia Hezbollah. Iraq has multiple Iranian-backed.
That's a $50 fucking fine.
That's the second time that's happened.
$50 fine. You owe me $100.
I can't believe that's happening.
I can totally believe it's happening because I've been friends with you for a long time.
Well, I'll give you that money as soon as I win that money from Herking.
Okay,
that's from our three sport challenge.
Your trifecta.
Let's see. Jordan, a staunch Western ally and crucial power in Jerusalem. For its oversight of holy sites, there is suspected of launching airstrikes in Syria to disrupt drug smugglers, including one that killed 9 people earlier this month. So that's the that was the dispatch from Breitbart News. And if any more comes in during the course of this podcast, we'll update that. But 3 dead, 25 wounded, Iran-backed drone strike on American troops.
Well, I mean, you'd have to be a fool to not think that this was going to happen. Yeah, we give them a shit ton of money and say, okay, here, you take it. But, don't mess with us. But you knew they were going to fucking do it.
That's called appeasement. Appeasement never works.
Exactly.
And then Joe Biden walks around talking about, and all the Joe Biden supporters walk around talking about how, this guy's great at foreign policy. Oh, thank God we have an adult in the White House now. We don't have someone like Trump.
Fucking geriatric.
I mean, for God's sake. I mean, it's completely out of control.
What time do you think they serve the green Jell-O at the White House?
24/7. 24/7. It's about the consistency of his brain.
Real quick, I'll give a quick Rob update.
Please do.
Went and saw him yesterday. Things still aren't great. He's got some more testing this week. Still trying to figure out what the hell it is. Whether it's bacterial, viral, autoimmune, they're kind of throwing darts, and I don't mean that in a negative way, but they're just, they're throwing darts at it, trying to figure it out, but it's very, very strange. He did open his eyes on his birthday for us and fucking mean mugged the shit out of me. I felt like I was on the podcast in that hospital room. He opened his eyes and looked, and it was Dan, myself, and then Rex and Kevin were there, and he opened his eyes and, kind of stared, but he looked at each one of us individually, which was nice. Nice that he was able to at least grab the shapes of people. But
well, he did manage to blow me a kiss. I don't know if you picked up on that or not, but it was kind of a bonding moment.
But yeah, it's not great, but we're hoping we get some answers, and he, the inflammation on his brain kind of, starts to subside and he starts to come through. Now, we did make his wife's doing very, very well, considering, Yeah, Aaron's been a fucking trooper, but we were sitting there talking. She was like, him, because he's got a feeding tube, so he's not, eating a ton. She goes, the amount of weight he's going to lose in here. She goes, his suits are falling off of him anyway.
Yes, my description of his suits would be ill-fitting. So the ones I saw him wearing all the time.
I said, shit. I said, we're gonna have to get him a shit ton of Men's Warehouse gift cards. He's gonna spend he's gonna spend $10,000 in Men's Warehouse just to get a new wardrobe by the time it's all said and done. But yeah, so I mean, I'll keep everybody up to date, and feel free to reach out to me if you want to know, in between podcasts or whatever. But yeah, so Plato, Brad Teeters, prayers for Rob. So everybody, yeah, just keep him and his family in your thoughts for now, and yeah, we'll see where we go from here. But we need him back.
Thoughts and prayers, baby.
T's and P's.
That's it. We gotta start praying. I sent you a ton of videos.
Yeah, I know it's gonna take me a minute to figure out which one's which.
Okay,
they're just not labeled well.
Do you have the Kamala Harris one?
I do know which one.
And that was and let me set this up a little bit.
Okay.
Of course, we're in the campaign season, and that's going to be the great thing from now until November, at least from my perspective, is we are in the campaign season now, and the Biden campaign is going to go completely off the rails in terms of Trump derangement syndrome, because they are just beside themselves trying to badmouth Trump, trying to and Biden told, and we're going to get into this one a little bit later. Biden told yesterday in South Carolina, I think, one of the worst lies that you can tell about Trump as it regards. Did you listen to that one when he said he wouldn't visit the troops, or he wouldn't visit the grave sites of the troops?
Yeah.
Okay. Stuff that has been totally debunked. And we'll get into that. But I want to start with this one on Kamala Harris, because she is on what I call the all abortion all the time tour. And she's out, and they've got, the Democrats have two issues. Well, and one is abortion.
They've got more than two. But.
Their big issue is abortion, because, and this is how sick the Democrats are. They have reduced women in this country to single issue voters, and they feel that if they can be out there and be the champions of abortion, then that's all women care about, and women will vote for them in droves. So Kamala Harris is out on the all abortion all the time tour. And so she puts abortion under the umbrella of our fundamental rights. All right. And so they love to say that Trump is the one who wants to be the dictator. Trump is the one who's the fascist. And this is part and parcel of that campaign, what Kamala Harris said the other day.
When you sent this to me and I watched it, what's funny is you don't hear, since they have been in office, you don't hear shit about her. It's almost like we don't even have a vice president. Because I was sitting there thinking about it, I'm like, all right, so here's something on Kamala Harris. But I'm like, we normally, you heard about Mike Pence a bunch.
Mm-hmm.
You've heard about all these other vice presidents. I don't hear fucking word one about her. It's like she's a fucking, like a mannequin. She's just fucking there. But and you hear dumb shit, but she's just not in. She's not in the news cycle.
Well, by any measure, she
president.
has been a complete and total failure at everything she has been assigned to do as vice president of the United States.
Yeah.
If you look at what she objectively, and Joe Biden will come out and the border is a prime example. Joe Biden put her in charge of the border the first week of the administration. Oh, Kamala Harris is going to get this, going to go to the root causes and get all this squared away. And all she did was manage to cobble up a few $1 million and send it to I think it's Nicaragua. I don't think it was Colombia, but whatever the three golden triangle countries are. I can't remember off the top of my head. But she sent him a few $1 million acting like this is going to take, problem solved.
Right.
And they've been able to ignore it up till now, because now that we're in the primary season, there's all kinds of polling going on. And the polling is reflecting that the southern border, is the number one issue for voters right now. So the Biden administration is trying to pretend like they're doing something about the border.
How much do you trust those polls? I mean, I'm asking because I don't know. I'm ignorant as far as, just how accurate. Like when I asked, I asked you the other day coming back from seeing Rob, about the New Hampshire primary, like how many poll, because I didn't watch it. I didn't get a chance to. But, he said Trump won by like 11 points or whatever. I don't know what that fucking means as far as, I know he won.
If you say,
but
Trump,
how accurate are these polls that they put out? How they score the primaries.
Yeah, well, the polls are a good measuring stick. So you look at what the polls in Iowa were showing, where Trump had, 53% of the vote over Nikki Haley and Ron DeSantis and Vivek Ramaswamy at the time. So you look at the end result, and the numbers that came out of Iowa pretty much reflected what the polls were. So the polls, I would not bet my mortgage on it, but I think the polls, more than anything else, give people like me something to talk about.
Yeah, and 513 said he trusts him when he agrees with him.
But I think
I love it. Thank you.
I think the polls tend to drive a lot of, especially if you have a poll that shows voters are concerned about issue X, then I think a lot of times you'll see that reflected on the campaign stump, and you'll get a candidate that harps on that particular issue a little because they think they're going to get some traction on that particular issue.
I was just curious. Just as long as I've been an adult and paying attention, as much as I can.
But the thing that most pundits do now is there's a website called Real Clear Politics. So you have Real Clear Politics. There's like 3 or 4 websites under the Real Clear umbrella. But Real Clear Politics does an amalgamation of like 10 or 15 or 20 different polls. So they have it's Real Clear Politics polling index. And that's what a lot of people rely on, because it takes all these different polls from different places and crunches all the numbers and comes out with, this is our average of all. You take all the polls that are out there, and here's the average number.
Gotcha.
And a lot of the pundits tend to rely on that for their talking points when they're on, Fox News or CNN or whatever the cable outlet is.
All right. So you ready for this video? Because you set that up way too long.
Yeah, here's Kamala Harris bashing Trump. It's about 45 seconds long, I think.
We must recognize the profound threat he poses to our freedoms and our democracy. We must recognize the profound threat posed by extremists across our nation who have been inspired, encouraged, and even cowered by the former president. In this moment, all across our nation, we are witnessing a full-on attack on hard-won, hard-fought freedoms and rights. We must recognize.
Okay, so that recycled to the beginning there. But what's she saying? She is saying our freedoms, our democracy are under attack by the former president, and what a danger he is. I talked about this on my radio show the other night. Victor Davis Hanson, who is a regular commentator on Fox News. He's a columnist. He's a distinguished fellow at, I want to say the Hoover Institute, but one of those think tanks out there. Really smart guy. All right. He wrote a column about this, and it addresses exactly what Kamala Harris is saying. So think about what Kamala Harris just said. And here's what Victor Davis Hanson wrote in his latest piece. There are several considerations, however, about these bankrupt and discredited Nostradamuses that the American people should note. Aside from the fact that democracy will die mob is the same herd that assured us of Russian collusion, laptop disinformation, and the integrity of the Biden family. First, ex-President Trump is now a known quantity. A comparison of his 4 years with the first 3 years of the Biden tenure is instructive. Biden's border is non-existent by design. 8 million illegal aliens unaudited from all over the world. The vast majority without legality, diversity, English, or skill sets have swarmed into the country under Biden. Biden stopped catch and release. He destroyed immigration law as we know it. Biden's flight from Afghanistan was the greatest foreign policy humiliation in modern American history. It destroyed U.S. deterrence, green-lighted Vladimir Putin to invade Ukraine, and Hamas to craft an intricate plan to slaughter Israeli citizens. There was zero inflation before Biden. 30-year mortgages were less than 2%. Now prices for staples like gas, food, power, healthcare, housing have all spiked over 30% since Biden took office. And Paula just went to the grocery store yesterday. All this talk about how great the economy is right now and how inflation is coming down. She spent an ass load of money at the grocery store yesterday, and she's like, I didn't come home with shit.
That's fact.
So this notion that inflation is on the way down, if you've been to the grocery store lately, you know that prices are, they continue to skyrocket. I mean, it is unbelievable.
I mean, when we go to the grocery store at the firehouse, like we don't even plan our meal until we get there to figure out, okay, what's on sale, what's going to be cheapest, what's most affordable for that day. And it's it's fucking nuts. And I don't do a ton of grocery shopping, but when I do, I mean, I can tell a difference. And if I don't go to the grocery store that often, and I can tell a difference in how fucking expensive shit is.
So here's another point in this column is just full of great points. It's on a website called American Greatness, if you want to look it up for yourself. It seems hard to accuse Trump of being a dangerous demagogue when his 4 years saw effective government action on the economy, on foreign policy, energy, and crime. After all, was the Trump Middle East policy, branding Houthis as terrorists, the Abraham Accords, moving the embassy to Jerusalem, non-negotiable Israeli Golan Heights, cutting off aid to Hamas, junking the Iran deal, slapping sanctions on Iranian oil, eliminating Soleimani, etc., or Biden's policy, sending money to Hamas, lifting sanctions on Iraq, begging to re-enter the Iran deal, freeing the Houthis from their terrorist classification, cutting back, and the Houthis are the ones who have been sending all these missiles to attack our ships. Yeah. And Biden is the one who took, because they were labeled as a terrorist group, and he took that sanction off of them.
I watched a 5-minute video on YouTube of nothing but fucking Navy ships firing missiles at these stupid sons of bitches. It was the most entertaining shit I've ever seen.
Oh, they got some good shit, man.
And David J's in the chats. I can't remember the weapon, but it'll catch whatever on the radar. Coming in, and that motherfucker.
What's the failing system?
Yeah. And that thing just all of a sudden it wakes up and it moves and blah. Oh, dude, it was fucking awesome. I went back.
Throws up a wall of fucking lead, man.
I went back and
watched everything.
I watched it again. All you saw was ships fucking blowing up. I was like, this is fucking awesome.
So
actually, with the inflation thing, our buddy Wolfman, Rich, yesterday we had to hit Party Source, and then I need to chew, and
fucking booze is expensive.
I was sitting there. There was a little tobacco store, so I ended up getting a roll of Skull. But
Skull, brother.
So I was sitting there and I was doing the math because I know like what I pay down the street.
Yeah.
And I was doing the math, and it's like 50 cents cheaper per can. So Rich just said, you know where to go for chew now to save a few dollars.
There you go. When it gets tight, it all matters. So here he is. And so what? So what did?
There it is. There it is. I knew David J would come through.
What did Kamala Harris
Thank
say?
you.
That we are under, our fundamental rights are under attack. All right. So then Victor Davis Hanson goes on to make the point. Who exactly has weaponized the government in dictatorial fashion? Who by fiat pandered illegally to cancel student loans before a midterm, or suddenly drain the Strategic Petroleum Reserve to lower gas prices before the election? Do we all remember that when Biden came out, released millions and millions and millions of hundreds of millions of barrels of oil from the Strategic Petroleum Reserve? We all remember that, don't we? What do former FBI directors, former intelligence authorities, and former directors of national intelligence and the CIA all have in common? They lied under oath and always in service of weaponizing the government for political agendas. Who hired a foreign national, Christopher Steele, to conduct a silly file, the dossier he's talking about here, of lies to destroy a political rival? Who did the FBI sequester the Hunter laptop for? Or he says, why did the FBI sequester the Hunter laptop for a year? Who subcontracted out Twitter for $3 million to suppress information deemed harmful to the Biden campaign? Who squashed an IRS investigation into the Biden family? It was not the would-be dictator Trump. Who secretly routed money to the Wuhan virology lab? And then who manipulated government agencies to hide that fact at the expense of welfare of the American people? Who called up a former CIA director to round up 51 intelligence retirees to lie about a sabotage of an election? Did not the current National Security Advisor, Jake Sullivan, try to concoct the Alpha Bank ping ruse to destroy the Trump campaign and administration? I mean, he goes back and touches on all these different scandals that any one of them by themselves is a major, major news story. But you look at all this stuff he just lays out in here. And so when you look at these things that the Biden, and it goes back to the Obama administration, I mean, who's the one that is attacking our fundamental rights? Who's the one that's weaponizing government to attack their political rivals? It's not Donald Trump. It's the fucking Democrats. It's Joe Biden. It's Kamala Harris. It's Barack Hussein Obama. It's Hillary Clinton and all their acolytes in the swamp that are doing this, not Donald Trump. So when you hear Kamala Harris and that gibberish falls out of her sorry fucking pie hole.
Yes, I was hoping you were going to say that.
I mean, fuck that, man. It is such fucking garbage. I'm sick of it.
I love it when you get fired up.
I'm absolutely sick of it. And I mean, look at all these scandals. Who coordinated with Pfizer executives to delay the announcement of the vaccine rollout until after the election? That was the Biden campaign.
I love this when you get fired up.
All this to make sure that Trump wouldn't get any question or any question for it.
I got him fired up,
or any credit.
I got him fired up because I said I was gonna vote for Biden again.
No, you're not voting for Biden.
Oh shit!
Right? And this is only I've only read 1/5 of this piece, and it goes on and on and on.
And Dan Varner said, "Preach, brother." Hey,
so when you hear all this crap,
real quick, hold on. You're gonna have homework. Speaking of Dan Varner, one of our charter sponsors, Dan Varner. We apologize. Rob had most of the copy of the of all the ad reads, so we're gonna kind of ad lib.
I know I had it. He took it from me.
But you have homework because we need to rewrite some ad reads so we can properly thank our sponsors.
I know. I haven't. You know what? I should have transferred it from my computer at home to my laptop computer, but I haven't done that.
Sorry, that's your homework.
So that's my fault.
No, that's all right. No, that's your homework. I mean, obviously, it was a little unexpected to not. We haven't done our due diligence in having duplicity of things.
Do you want me to talk about the Varner Foundation?
Go ahead. Talk about the Varner
Well,
Foundation.
the Varner Foundation is a foundation set up by our buddy Dan Varner. And what they do is they come in and they help kids that are in the foster care system. And the fact of the matter is that a lot of responsible, caring adults, parents who get involved in the foster care system many times find themselves, and look, they get a little tiny stipend for these kids when they've got kids in their home, but it doesn't really add up to anything. It doesn't even come close. Look, any of you listening to us right now that have kids at home, you know what kind of commitment that takes to support these kids in a proper way. So a lot of times, these foster families, they'll out of pure love and wanting to do something good for these kids, bring these kids into the home. But a lot of them, after 6 months or a year or 18 months, just they can't do it anymore because of the financial strain that it puts on the family. And a lot of times it's something that pops up that's unexpected. It could be any number of things. Well, that's where the Varner Foundation for Children and Families comes in, because the social service agencies know about the Varner Foundation. You know, look, we need help for whatever the expense is. They make a phone call to the Varner Foundation, and a lot of times that issue is resolved in 24 to 48 hours. And the great thing about the Varner Foundation is that all the money, every dime of it, and I'm not going to say it. Do you want me to say it?
Yeah, go ahead and say
100%. Let's drink. 100% goes to the mission of the Varner. They're not skimming 2 or 3 or 4% off the top to pay for fees or overhead or anything like that. Every dime goes to the mission to support these kids. So the Varner Foundation, all the information is right there on our screen, and you can look them up, and they do great things.
Very, very well done, sir. Without having a piece of paper in front of you.
Well, I originally wrote that copy. So,
I know, but I'm impressed.
You know,
I'm impressed.
I dug deep into the vast resources of my cranial area.
Well, it's a fucking huge cranium. There's a lot of shit in there.
I got a big dome. We should do that. We should demonstrate with your motorcycle helmet sometime.
Oh yeah.
You put it on your head, then I'll put it on my head, and that'll be a good visual, and people will see how big my head is compared to yours.
The amount of extra money you have to pay for the plastic to make that fucking helmet for you.
I mean, I went out and got the absolute biggest one of those I could find, and it still doesn't fit me right.
I love it. Shit. But yeah, that is something we have to work on. We have to get some new ad reads.
All right.
Because I don't know if I'll be able to get into his computer and get what we had before. So the ad reads you may hear, which is probably good to change them up anyway, because I'm sure everybody's tired of hearing the exact
So there you
same
go.
shit.
So I think I've demonstrated quite well how the Biden campaign is just absolutely, and look, it's not just Kamala Harris. It's every time you turn on CNN, every time you turn on MSNBC, every time you turn on The View, every time. And, you know, Rachel Maddow, when Trump spoke the other night,
Yeah, what a clown.
After winning in Iowa, she came on and said, oh, well, we can't air this because, of these high ethical standards that we have about broadcasting known lies. So they couldn't let Trump be on the air, of course, without them knowing ahead of time what he says. Because, you know, they're protecting us American people from being exposed to Trump's lies. So they got such a backlash on that. When he won in New Hampshire, they went ahead and aired it because they were just, I mean, they're hemorrhaging viewers as it is right now. So in order to try and not repeat that, they went ahead and aired it the other night.
I'll have to look this up. David J just put a comment up. Says, what's up with the fiery tanker crash in Macedonia, Ohio, resulting in the death of the driver and a spill of thousands of gallons of diesel fuel? I'll have to look that up. I don't know. I was too busy drinking with the warthogs all weekend, so I did like hardly any homework.
Is that recent or from a few weeks ago?
I don't know.
Because you remember the one from a few weeks ago, right?
Yeah.
Yeah, there was.
But I don't know if that was Macedonia.
I don't know. Macedonia, Ohio?
Yeah. I'll have to look it up. David J, we'll get to the bottom of it. But
all
yeah,
right.
I did. I was very unprepared for today.
You want to keep talking politics or you want to talk something else?
Yeah, let's talk AI.
Well, we talked about this in our last podcast, didn't we?
And I'm actually working. I'm going to be working with Rich from Engraved on on some AI stuff.
Yeah.
So that way we'll have Rob still in the podcast a little bit.
No way.
We're working on something.
Are you kidding me? We're gonna make an AI Rob.
He's gonna work on something. We talked about it last night. I don't know if he remembers because he went to bed very, very early because he was way overserved. Like way overserved. Like 10,000 yard stare overserved.
Who's got the computer technology for that? I guess he does.
He does.
Yeah, they got a lot of good shit there.
But the AI stuff, it's so fucking scary. So I mean, some of it's complete shit. I mean, you can tell, but some of it's like really fucking good.
Mm-hmm.
So it's like you just don't know what's real and what's not anymore. Like you have to deep dive to figure out, am I looking at the right fucking thing? But you sent me this fucking video and I laughed my ass off.
What did I title this one?
I don't know what the fuck. I think in the email was just AI, but
okay,
this shit's funny as hell.
Let's listen in as NASA reveals their findings.
I'll read a transcript from some of the survivors of the UAP abductions. This one is from someone who would like to remain anonymous. We'll call him Ron.
Call him Ron.
He wrote, I woke up in a white room, surrounded by strange creatures that resembled Adam Schiff. They bent me over a table and I became very nervous. As the probe entered my butthole, I tried to relax. Unfortunately for me, I got a bowel movement and started spraying poop all over the aliens. This seemed to disturb them very much. And to this day, I'm thankful for my IBS, which may have saved not only my life, but my anus as well.
That is so. And the thing is that's Senator Robert Kennedy from Louisiana, just one of the all-time greats in the Senate. And the thing is, I had to listen to that twice before it struck me that this was totally fake.
Well, that doesn't fucking shock me.
Because the rhythm, the cadence, the way he, I mean, and I've heard him read some stuff back to people who were before his committee at times, stuff that where the content was not all that pleasant, and I mean that is dead on, and so they probably did the voice matching. They took samples of his speech and his cadence and fit it to that script, and the mouth movements are almost right on too. They're very close.
That's why I made the screen bigger, so you can at least look at.
Yeah, if you lay that's one of the dead give. Plus, I mean, the content is just.
I was listening.
It's funny as shit.
I listened to it last night, and then I listened to it again on the way home in my truck. Oh my god, I almost wrecked my fucking truck. Will Gray said that isn't the weirdest thing I've jerked to, but it's close. Oh yeah, I like that.
Nah, Kennedy's the best, man. That guy's funny as shit. I love that.
That story you just had up too. Let's hit that one.
Which one was that?
The one that you have on your fucking screen.
Oh, about the F-150s?
Douche.
Yeah, I thought this might be of interest to you because you are on your second Ford F-150.
I am.
Beautiful. This 2023 model.
2023.
And we wrote in. I've read
it
a few times.
I got to make my fucking payment today too.
But it is a beautiful truck, a beautiful ride. Were you enticed at all to purchase an electric Ford F-150 Lightning?
Absolutely not.
Did they have example those models on the floor when you were looking for your new truck?
If they did, I didn't see them because I didn't ask to see those pieces of shit. No fucking way. No way.
Ford now.
This number's fucking astounding to me though.
Electric Viking reports. I guess this is an individual who is on YouTube, goes by the name of Electric Viking. Ford Motor Company has initiated a significant workforce reduction at its F-150 Lightning electric vehicle plant, cutting nearly 70% of the jobs. I read a month or so ago where they were cutting production of the F-150 Lightning in half because people just don't want them.
Right.
The move comes amid rising concerns about the company's commitment to its EV endeavors as it simultaneously expands its internal combustion. It's ICE. They call that ICE engines now. Internal ICE, internal combustion engine. It's called an ICE engine now. Ford's decision to eliminate 2 out of 3 production crews at its F-150 Lightning plant affected 1,400 workers. It's raising eyebrows within the automotive industry. The downsizing reflects a strategic shift away from EVs, signaling the company's intention to scale down production of the electric pickup despite growing demand in the broader market. Well, I don't think there really is growing demand. I think they've pretty much, as far as EVs are concerned, the analysis that I've seen are telling me that the people out there who really want them went out and got them. And that's when, you remember when compact discs first came out, right? Laser discs for music. And
well, laser disc and compact disc are 2 different
yeah,
things.
but I'm saying compact disc for
laser disc for that's fucking big.
Yeah, but I'm saying for movies and stuff,
DVDs
and then
DVD.
DVDs. Remember when they first came out?
Yeah,
those machines to play those, $8,000, $9,000, $10,000. So only the very upper crust, the very rich, could afford those things. Well, now you've probably got 3 or 4 old ones sitting around here. They're junk. They're garbage. You throw them away. I mean, because they literally became a dime a dozen.
Yeah. Very, very
And that's
cheap.
the way economic works.
It's just like TVs, too. TVs are now fucking disposable. Nobody repairs a TV.
Oh, fuck no. You can go spend $200 for a 45 or 50-inch TV now. I mean, it's crazy. So,
but to lose, then this is where this number astounds me.
Yeah.
$36,000 they're losing on every truck.
Estimated, despite the F-150 Lightning being hailed as America's best-selling EV pickup, Ford acknowledges losing money on each. Imagine that. Every unit sold, they're losing between 34 and 36 grand on every single unit.
And I should have looked this up before we started.
I mean, that is just crazy. That is completely unsustainable. I don't know how you expect anyone to do that. Beyond job cuts, Ford has delayed approximately $12 billion in EV investments and postponing the opening of a battery plant in Kentucky.
A 2023 Ford F-150 Lightning Platinum. That's a Platinum, mind you. 93 grand.
Yeah.
Now, trucks are expensive anyway.
Sure they are.
But if you're losing, all right, so yeah, 93,000 for this, this high-end electric fucking vehicle, and you're losing, we'll just say for this one, $36,000. Well, now you're down into the fucking range of a fucking normal fucking truck.
Does that include the battery?
Do what?
Does that include the battery?
Yeah, I mean, they're not going to fucking tell you a truck without a fucking
because
battery.
I had a story last week,
but then
I don't know if I talked about it on this show.
Well, we did talk, back when when Rob was with us, on the cast at the Varsity, about all these electric vehicles, and when you have to replace. Remember, I showed that invoice of the battery replacement, which was like $20,000 or whatever it was. I don't remember the exact number, but it was astronomical. But then what do you do with all these fucking batteries when your shit's out and you pay 20 grand to get it replaced? Yeah. There's nowhere to put them. The recycling cost of them, to recycle, in bulk is astronomical.
Well, the government, Joe Biden, decided to subsidize these companies that say they can take the old batteries and recycle them into brand new batteries. So that's another
which is bullshit. That's
multi-billion-dollar outlay to subsidize these companies so they can go ahead and get involved in this business.
So some of these guys in the chats, like Brad Teeter's Plato, I call him Plato from the club. He goes, I paid $26,000 for my 15 Ram with 60,000 miles. They wanted $46,000 for a 20 Chevy High Country with 240,000 miles.
Oh my God!
I bought my brand new truck for 54 and literally wanted to throw up when I was signing the paperwork. My 04, it was funny because it was literally a double. My 04 F-150 when I bought it new was $27,000.
And you thought that was a lot of money back then?
Yeah.
Yeah, fuck yeah. Hell yeah.
So it's absolutely crazy to me that these fucking I'm trying to formulate my words correctly. These fucking idiots that think that that electric vehicles is the way to go. And you hear all the stories about people now having to plan their trips more accordingly to find a charging station.
Yeah.
And you're adding the hours onto a trip to fucking sit there and wait for the motherfucker to charge. And then you got to hope that there's not a power grid doesn't go out to where you roll into a Buc-ee's somewhere in East Buttfuck, wherever. I don't give a shit. You better hope there's fucking power there anyway, just to charge your shit. Fuck you. That's just such a dumb idea.
Well, Jason Rantz, who is a talk show host in Seattle, Washington, was on with Laura Ingraham. I believe it was Laura Ingraham a few nights ago. And he tells a story about how he was taking a trip. It's somewhere out west, and I forget exactly where it was. But he had to cover, and he decided just so I can have my own my own reference
fucking stroke.
I'm trying to think of the word. You were trying to find the word. My own reference point. When it comes,
Dan, I can't lose. When
it comes to talking about electric vehicles, I was trying to find the reference point is the word I wanted to use.
Yeah.
So he took a trip from and it was somewhere out west, but he rented an electric vehicle from Hertz or from one of the major car companies. Mm-hmm. And as we know, Hertz is selling the majority of its electric car fleet because they don't want them anymore. Customers don't want them. So he gets this electric vehicle, and he's going from point A to point B out west. Doesn't matter where it was, somewhere out in the desert of California. And he was going to have to cover 160 miles to get from where he was to the next charging station. Okay. And so the vehicle has a range of 230, 200, whatever the a lot of the ranges, I think for some of the more expensive ones, are close to 300 miles now. Somewhere, we'll say call it between 240, 300 miles. So he's like, okay, 160, I'm fully charged. I'm going to have time to spare before I get to that charging station and make sure I'm good, charge it up. He says, well, what I didn't realize is that, there were some places where I had to drive uphill. He said it was cold out there, so I ran the heater.
Pulling more power.
And he said I got to within, I believe it was 2.5 miles of his destination, and the car completely died.
Fucking shit out.
Completely died. And he says, I'm on this county road. He says, literally, it's a county road with like 3 numbers on it. And he's calling people. He said he couldn't get an Uber driver to come get him. He couldn't call a tow truck to come get him because he literally did not know where he was because he's trying to make it to this charging station. He said, I got out and started walking to because wherever this charging station, I guess there was a small town or whatever up the road.
Was he hoping they had a 2.5 mile fucking extension cord?
He could no. He said he told Hertz. He said, I'm leaving the car there. It's your problem. It's a fucking rental, so it's not his car. So he got into the town and then was able to get an Uber and get to wherever he had to go.
Sitzy 513 said Hertz. He should have rented from Volts. I'll show myself out. Nicely played, sir. Nicely played.
So it's not only that, Ben. And the reason I asked if the F-150 came with the battery, because I had this story about Asheville, North Carolina.
Are you talking about mine or the electric or the Lightnings?
Well, the Lightnings.
Okay. If
they come with the battery. Asheville, North Carolina, I had this story last week, how they put 5 electric buses in their fleet of city buses. All right. Sold to them by a company called Proterra, which the Biden administration subsidized to the tune of multi-billions of dollars, American taxpayer dollars. A lot of these cities that purchase these buses don't want them anymore because they're prone to catching on fire, which, as a firefighter is not good.
Yeah, it's a fucking nightmare.
So Asheville, North Carolina, they had 5 buses in their fleet, and the buses cost over 600 grand each. It's like 630, 640 grand, somewhere in that neighborhood each. Then they had I'm just making a point.
No, I'm
No,
checking.
this beer's got plenty of beer.
I'm trying to be a gentleman.
But then not only did they spend 650 grand to get the buses, then they had to lease the batteries at $118,000 a year.
Oh my God.
Then they had to pay another $200,000 to install the charging facility to charge these fucking things. They've got 5 of them. 3 of them are totally out of commission. One has a door that needs replaced. They can't get the door because the company is bankrupt now. I mean, and they are completely fucked.
How about the poor fucker that's in charge of that fleet maintenance?
So there are cities across the country that have purchased these buses that are inoperable and cannot be repaired. Despite such problems, the Biden administration is now providing school districts with another $1 billion in taxpayer money so they can buy electric buses. I mean, this is absolute insanity. I mean, we have the track record of this company that they can't do it. And they're spending another $1 billion so they can buy school buses on the backs of the American taxpayers. Asheville is not alone. A transit department spokesperson in Stockton, California, told Just the News it had 6 of its 17 electric buses in December that were not operating. They also have problems with the charging stations. Duluth, Minnesota, Proterra buses with cracked chassis and failed to make it up steep hills. South Philadelphia, the transit system had buses that stopped running as a result of cracked chassis. The city of Edmonton in Alberta, Canada, bought 60 of these buses. Most of them aren't running.
Well, they're fucking Canadians. Whatever.
Jackson Hole, Wyoming, purchased 8 of the buses, all of which broke down in December. It is unbelievable. And then here's what Kamala Harris had to say. The brilliant Kamala Harris had to say about school buses. All right. Every school day, 25 million children ride our nation's largest form of mass transit, the school bus. The vast majority of these buses run on diesel, exposing students, teachers, and bus drivers to toxic air pollution. End quote. That's a straight quote from Kamala Harris.
Go get fucked.
Did you ride a school bus when you went to school?
Absolutely.
And how did they pipe the exhaust directly into the area where the students ride the school bus? Because according to Kamala Harris, that's what happened.
Oh, no, but the bus driver I had, they probably should have. So that way that bitch would have fucking died of fucking carbon monoxide. She was an angry, angry fucking lady.
How many people listening to us right now rode a school bus, most likely a diesel fueled school bus, to school every fucking day?
As soon as I was able to drive, I got off the cheese.
Yeah, me so
I got off the cheese, my man. I
do, but I'm
actually my parents drove me most of the time.
I'm talking about 2nd grade,
yeah,
3rd grade, 4th grade, 5th grade, 6th grade, 8th grade. My freshman year of high school, I had a car by my sophomore year of high school.
Cincy 513 said we should go back to horses. This is destroying the carriage and buggy industry.
But Kamala Harris is trying.
I'd rather do that than ride in an electric fucking vehicle.
She's trying to make the point that all these toxic diesel fumes are so dangerous to kids.
Geraldine said 100%. Everybody in the chats and us has to drink.
I'll drink. I mean, what kind of argument is that?
No, it's ignorant. It's fucking ignorant. Completely ignorant.
That's the vice president of the United States.
If you were to ever
show some respect, sir.
If you were to ever buy an electric vehicle, this podcast would end. We would not be friends, and I would actually probably move out of the neighborhood. I don't want to live that close to you.
I have said that I will probably not live long enough to get to the point to where we are forced.
Dan, that's not true. You're timeless.
Where we are forced to buy electric vehicles.
Well, that idea.
Because that is, look, Kamala Harris is out there talking about how all our freedoms are under attack. If she had her way, and Joe Biden had his way, and AOC had her way, and Pete Buttigieg had his way, we wouldn't have any choice but to buy electric vehicles today. If they could wave a magic wand and make it happen that everyone, the only choice you had when it comes to buying your own transportation was an EV, that is exactly what they would sign on for. So who's attacking freedom? Whose fundamental rights as a self-determining human being is under attack?
6513 is on fire today.
What do you say?
He said, my Prius runs on MAGA tears.
Hey, man.
Oh, I love it.
The Prius is a hybrid, if I'm not mistaken.
That shit's fucking funny.
The Prius is a hybrid, is it not?
I think so. Fuck, I don't know.
Now, look, to my way of thinking,
I put a Prius in the same fucking category as a Subaru.
Well, but a hybrid is actually, I think, the smarter way to go.
David J said that earlier in the chat.
Because you can run on, when the electric power conks out, you fire up the engine, you've got a gasoline engine, boom, and you're off and running.
David J actually, hybrid cars was the best idea to start
when the gasoline engine is running, it charges up the battery.
I'm okay with the hybrid.
Yeah. I'm
okay with the hybrid. I have no issue with that.
But see, the hybrid technology was mostly driven, largely driven. I'm sure there was some government subsidies in there somewhere, but it was largely driven by what? By market forces.
I keep interrupting you, but some of these chats are good. Dan Varner said, I had friends inhaling other kinds of smoke in the back of the bus.
Well, I can vouch for that.
That's facts. Hey,
Dan Varner, he rode a yellow school bus. And look, he's a fully functioning adult. Yeah. How can that possibly happen?
He's a songbird of our generation.
Well, I'm just saying. I mean, how can it possibly, according to Kamala Harris, the teachers are in danger, right? Because they're in proximity to the school, I guess.
Well, next year, they're going to
can't be out there.
They're going to outlaw air conditioning because all the Freon, and now that they've changed the Freon to this other shit, that they really don't even know what it is.
How much time do we have?
Not a ton, actually.
Do you want to hear this is the best thing?
But I want you, before we end, to ad lib another ad read.
About?
Before we end.
Engraved in USA?
Yeah. Before, if you can do it now, or you can do your point.
No. I'll do engraved.
All right.
Okay. So, but I do want to say it right. It's engraved in USA.
Correct.
Not the USA, engraved in USA.
Correct.
And our friends at Engraved in USA have been a great sponsor and a great friend of the One More and I'm Out of Here podcast, literally from the very beginning. And look, we did a great podcast from their facility. We had we're
going to do another
a lot of meetings with them, but they have really turned out, and they've been great supporters of ours. And now we've gotten to the point to where they are making products that have your favorite logo on it, the One More and I'm Out of Here logo on it.
Yes. And
you can peruse all that. If you go to their website, we link to it through our website. Is that how it works?
That's correct.
So if you go to onemoreandimoutofhere.com, you can link to engravedinusa.com, and you see all the information on your screen there. And the products, we have given some of these products to some of our guests when they come on our podcast, and it's amazing when they open the box and they look at the tumbler, or they look at whatever. The creations have no limit at Engraved in USA. And then the reaction that we get from our guests when they see these beautiful, wonderfully, exquisitely done things, that to me is the payoff right there. When you see their reaction, like, oh my God, this is awesome. And that's the look. If you want to make something for, let's say you have a wedding coming up, and you want to provide gifts to all your groomsmen and the bridesmaids and all that kind of stuff, Engraved in USA is the place to go. And that's just one example. And if you need more examples than that, all you got to do is look at their website, and you'll get the idea. If you've got promotional material, really anything, Engraved in USA is the place to go. And we can't say enough good about them and what they've done for us. So we recommend.
Very good friends.
You check
of ours.
it out.
So yeah. They've treated us very, very well, and we love them for it. We will be doing another podcast from their war room.
I can't wait. I can't wait to go back.
I love that place. That place is like a goddamn playground.
I just like walking around, looking at all the cool shit they do.
Yeah. I love it.
Yeah. That kind of stuff is.
Rich said we're welcome back anytime. We will.
Thank you very much.
We will make sure that we do that.
No, try not to walk out with anything this time like I did last time.
Stacy said, whoa, Dan Varner fully functioning is going a little bit too far, buddy. She's also not wrong.
Well,
all right. How you want to wrap it up?
I guess I would just say that
we're right at an hour.
Yeah. Rob, we miss you, brother.
Cheers to Rob.
You know, if you're the type of person that believes in the power of prayer, now is not a bad time to indulge in that. And I don't know. We're just going to hope for better things down the road.
That's right.
So that's where I stand on that.
You're about to fuck me up, man.
Don't get me started.
I know it. You're gonna get me fucking started. Guys, I'm gonna shoot out our schedule. I gotta get with Dano and figure out.
Thank you, all of you watching the podcast. We appreciate all of you being here.
Yep.
Tell your friends and neighbors about it.
Yes, sir. We'll get a schedule out for the coming week. Maybe we'll just go week by week as far as
Put the pressure on me.
That's right. Well,
big pressure.
Your schedule.
I can't believe it's January 28th.
Your schedule's more weird than mine.
My schedule's all over the place. I know.
So, but we'll be back at you. I'm hoping at some point this week. I'm off all week, by the way. So,
shock face.
I'm on a vacation day today, and I have a Kelly Day Wednesday. I go back Saturday, so we're definitely going to put another one out this week. So, but I will throw that out on our Instagram, and you'll get the notifications. But yeah, say some prayers for Rob and his family, and
you might be the only one that I know that takes about as much vacation as Biden does.
Dude, I get a shit ton, so I'm using it.
I know it's a beautiful thing.
So I'll end the show a little bit different since you're fucking bashing me. Hey Dan, eat a bag of dicks.
Eat a bag of